It's called Sad Eyes, Turn the Other Way. I Don't Want to See You Cry. And okay, so I'm gonna start off here just by kind of sketching lightly the eyebrows like this, right in here like this. And now the face is kind of narrow. Let's see. It's got kind of a narrow chin. He's very kind of gaunt. And if you know what gaunt means, okay, let's do the neck right here. Neck. And so this part of the neck is kind of not showing. There's a collar right here. And then, let's see, we're going to take this on around like this. Okay, and so, okay, this is the eyes. I gotta zoom in a little bit here with the eyes. Let me see if I can get them. Well, at first, let's do the ears before we put eyes on him. And let's see here, we've got okay, so let me, okay, I've got to get the nose in here like this. Okay, hang on. We're going to get the nose in here. Okay, so we've got, okay. Okay, so this is sort of, okay, we've got, okay, let's see if we can put in, we'll make this part really, really dark. This part really is dark as we can make the eyes. Oh yeah, that's got that good. That's got a good sad look going on right there. That's the look we're looking for, is a sad look. Okay, so now we've got something right about here. Let's see if we can. Okay, see, we got that in there. And that looks pretty good. That's really close to, oh yeah, I left enough room for the mouth. I've got to get the mouth in here too. Let's do as much as we can, getting the mouth in here like this. Okay, we're just calling this one Sad Eyes. I'm not using any name specifically. We're just calling it sad eyes. It's no person at all. That's got the sad eyes down pretty good right there, doesn't it? Now I've ran out of my I've run out of my AI for the day. My AI picture, photo to video. I used it all up. Can you believe that? I used up all of my photo to video for the day. Even if I go to another YouTube channel, I'm still not going to be able to use it. So I think I do have some on TikTok though that I could use. I think I have 3 I can use on TikTok with photo to video that I could use. Okay, so let's see, the shoulder is kind of like right in here. So, okay, let me see if I can get this in here. We've got a little stem right here. And let's see if I can get his finger. Okay. Okay, we've got that there. And we've got that there. And now we've got this here. And okay, we're gonna okay. You see that there? Ooh, pretty good, huh? Okay, so this little part right about here is the finger. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, well, that's okay. It looks like we've got an extra finger on there, so we've got an extra finger. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so let's take, his hand might be a little bit exceptionally large there, but okay, so let's take, okay, this part down the center like that, and okay, we'll do that. And so we're going to make some buttons here on the shirt. There's a button, and here's a button, and here's a button. Okay, we're going to kind of scribble these in. They don't have to be that good. Shirt's kind of wrinkled a little bit, so we're going to take this on around down like this. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. We do have a little bit of a hint of a pocket right here. Little pocket. It almost kind of looks like parchment paper, brown paper. There's a lot of wrinkles, kind of like linen a little bit. Okay, so we've got some little wrinkles and things up there like that. That's pretty good. Hello. Let's see. Hello, Robin Dina. Okay. And, okay, so we've got, Okay. Okay, so I'm taking this on out. Oh, that looks pretty good. We're going to have to put some hair on his head, though, because this looks kind of rather ridiculous right here like this. Okay. So I'm trying to kind of connect in there. That looks better with the shirt there. So his hand is exceptionally large right there like that. Okay. Name is, my real name is Shock You, but if you wouldn't let me, your real name is Shaka Yumai. Shoka Yumai, but if it wouldn't let me, it wouldn't let you. Okay, you're so good at drawing. Yeah, I like drawing actually, and it really doesn't take very long to make a picture. It really doesn't, and so once you learn the little tricks of, it's just practice of shadowing. It's just a bunch of lines and shadows. That's all it is. You practice, and you can make it look as good or as rough as you want to. Just use shadows, and you don't have to. I mean, that's kind of how I learned. Even when I was first learning how to draw, I was putting in too much time into the drawing, and you don't have to. You don't have to put in that much time into drawing as far as that goes. And so this picture looks pretty good so far. I just don't have any hair on his head yet. I don't have any hair on his head. So, but, these are fun if you want to do something quick. Let's add some hair on his head and see what we come up with. Okay, I've got this zoomed in here, so we've probably got a little part, let's say right about here, a little cowlick. Y'all know what a cowlick is. We're going to add that in there. And so, is it that? Yeah, well, it is now. We're committed to it now, kind of, aren't we? Okay, so we're going to, it's scraggly here, kind of scraggly like this. Yeah, oh yeah, that's working. That's going to work. Okay, so we'll just kind of start. That looks pretty good. Oh my gosh. The scary part is, the thing that I find disturbing is when someone decides, well, let's take this drawing and we're going to troll her. And we're going to take a real person, a person who looks kind of like what the drawing she drew, and we're going to make that person look like her drawing. And some of that has been done. I don't know who's doing it, but somebody is. And so they take, I mean, I could call myself done right now if I wanted to, but I want to keep going. But look at his eyes are perfectly sad. You are so good at drawing, I really can't describe it. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. I have fun drawing, and I think that other people can learn from what we do related to drawing, and just by watching. That's kind of what I did. I watched other people draw, mostly men, drawing on the internet, in the entertainment industry, on YouTube especially. It was mostly men. And I tried to do crochet with, there was some guys who, they did comics and things like that. This was, gosh, back in, I can't remember the guy's name, but they were part of a network, though. I didn't know it, and they didn't tell me at that time that they were part of a network. And so they wouldn't do anything with me. They just wanted me to promote them, but they didn't want to promote anything on my channel as far as that goes. So, and so I'm just sharing. I'm not trying to be negative about what this is, but it's the truths about what goes on the internet related to the networks. And so I was trying to collaborate with them. That's what they were always calling it, collaborate. We've got to collaborate. And it's like, okay. And then they were like, well, what are we going to do? You know, so they wanted me to promote them. So their channels were smaller than mine. I had like close to, I don't know, 300,000 subscribers at the time. Now I've since deleted that channel. Because it's not worth the pain and heartache for myself, for people to keep bringing things back up that I didn't do, just because they don't understand how the internet works. And, you know, and so, but they were also part of a network too. So they had network help. They were part, oh my gosh, they were like artists out of, I guess, Disney and stuff like that. So they had years and years of experience. They had software set up on their computers. They had professional software installed on their computers, so they could just copy and paste things. And I also believe that they had the animation software set up so they could do the things they do. I'm just doing this by hand, kind of like how I learned when I went to college and I learned about HTML and hard coding into a website. You know, so now we just have what you see is what you get. Actually, you know what we have right now? We have talk into the computer, tell it what to make. It's still a what you see is what you get. But we no longer need Macromedia Flash. We don't need that anymore. That was something I learned how to use. Now, I think it's still fun to kind of do things the old-fashioned way sometimes. You know, I mean, I think even getting married the old-fashioned way, that might be kind of fun for some people one day. I'm not going to do the internet marriages, and I'm not going to go around pretending that someone's my husband when he's not, because I believe a man is a man, a woman is a woman, and internet robots are internet robots, even though we can have fun with them. But if I ever get married again, you know, he's going to have to be a rich guy. He's going to have to, I need like $250,000 a year for myself to buy a house. The man I get with, he's going to have to be really, really rich. I'm a gold digger now. I mean, I was always said I was a gold digger. My gosh. Back when minimum wage was $3.25 an hour, I was gold digging then. You know, getting married to a man who made $3.50 an hour, $3.25 an hour. I was a gold digger then for getting married to him because he had a job making $3.25 an hour because that was minimum wage. I was a gold digger back then. I sure was. And so, I could be done, but I don't want to be done. I want to keep drawing because I have so much fun drawing. I've only been on here for 18 minutes and I'm kind of done. This would be perfect for a photo to video, but I used up my allocation of photo to vid. Well, wait a minute. Did I? Wait a minute. Did I use it up? No, I'm drawing here on YouTube. I'm doing a photo to video in my live stream. Good grief. Okay, let's keep going. So I like the AI one though because it's hit and miss with what it comes up with, and I love that side of AI though. Okay, so you are inspiring of following your dream of drawing. I am. I am. Following a dream of drawing. Yeah. Should I tell you guys? I'm going to tell you something. And Mom, I have to say, rest your soul. Rest yourself in peace, Mom. So when I have to tell this story related to drawing. Okay, I want to tell this story so bad. I was only 5 when it happened, and I still, to this day, I feel so bad about it because of the fact that Mom told me that I did something wrong. And so a lot of times I will draw images sometimes with my child mind self in mind, but I want to tell what happened. I've told this story before. I told it on my other YouTube channel. I told it on Google Plus. AI remembers everything. So, you know what? I think that, you know what would be really cool? I think that I think that AI, I am going to keep drawing. Okay, you said I'm keeping someone. I had a little disturbance there for a second. Wait a second. I need to see something here. I might have to. I wanted to. Let me see so I can see better. I need to pull up my screen here because I can't. I can't read on the. I can't read from this angle. I'm glad I'm keeping you entertained. That you like my stupid stories that I tell. Um, you know, because they're the truth. Some of them are the truth, and some of them I try to make up. Some of the recent ones. Okay, masked while mysterious. That looks so good. OMG, I am not just saying this is true. You don't have to like it if you really don't. But thank you so much. Okay, um, so what I'm gonna tell you this story. So when I was a little kid, I was in kindergarten, and we had to draw pictures of our family. The teacher gave us an assignment. So this was back in the day when we had Sally, Dick, and Jane. And if you don't know who Sally, Dick, and Jane is, there is a publishing house that this was part of the public school system. And so they no longer use Sally, Dick, and Jane anymore. And so right now, those of us who had Sally, Dick, and Jane, we make fun of them. And I think the movie industry has made fun of Sally, Dick, and Jane too. But let me get on with my story. So, so anyway, I was using my imagination, and so we had an assignment, and our assignment was to draw our family. And so I drew my family in crayons, and I put a little wee wee on a little package of my mom. And see, at that time, the thing is, like, I remember, I remembered from the house that I was in before we moved to the other house, because my dad and mom were building a house at the time. So we moved to the other house, and I was in kindergarten. Or no, we hadn't moved yet. No, we had not moved yet. And so anyway, I put a little package on my mom, and I put a tail on my mom, and it was really, really long. I think it was longer than the one did I put one on my dad? I don't think I did. So I made a picture of my dad, and I think he had pants on, and then I made a picture of my mom. And so my dad and mom, when I was a kid, they were kind of running around the house without any clothes on all the time. And I remember this vividly from, when I was 2, 3 years old, 2, 3, 4. I remember that. And so I went to school, drew a picture. And so there was this thing on my mom that was really, really long. It went like from hers. Maybe I just thought it would be funny to draw a picture of that on my mom, because the thing I was thinking at the time was like, my dad has one, my mom should have one too. That's what I thought. that my mom should have one too. But keep in mind, I was only 5 and I was in kindergarten. And so I drew the picture, and it was at school for a long time. The teacher never said anything to me at all. They just liked our picture. So then I think my mom went to conferences, and I think she brought it home then, and or maybe I brought it home. I don't remember, but it was on display in the hallway for everyone to see with conferences and everything like that. They looked at my picture. And so my mom asked me, she's like, "Well, what is this thing on me?" And I told her. I don't remember what I called it, but I said, "Well, it's that thing that Dad has." And Mom is like, "The thing that Dad has," and it's like, "Well, yeah, when you take a shower and you get out of the shower." And maybe this was a wake up call for Mom and Dad. Possibly, I don't know, but I just remember telling Mom it's the thing that Dad has. I don't remember calling it the appropriate name because I don't even know if they called it anything. I was just an observer seeing things, and I just remember watching them both get in and out of the shower, and I knew that Dad had a tail, and I thought Mom should have a tail too. That's what I called it, a tail, because what was that saying? Snakes and snails and puppy dog tails or something like that. There was a little poem. Maybe that was it. Snakes and snails and puppy dog tails. But anyway, I thought Mom should have one too because Dad had one. Now, it could be that Mom, maybe I recognized as a child that Mom was kind of exhibiting some things of trying to find her equality in a place in, up against Dad when I was a kid. Maybe, I think sometimes I think that maybe that's what my brain could have been trying to discern in, some of the things that my mom was exhibiting towards my dad, because women sort of do have to put men in their place in the marriage. They would literally have to, especially young. When it's young, you have to, because otherwise you have to deal with a man who is just full of piss, vinegar, and testosterone, and he's always bucking up against the woman all the time, wanting to be in charge all the time, and it's like, no, that ain't gonna work. And Mom knew how to kind of break that out of my dad, which some men will call henpecked, and so if they just want to be in control all the time and they don't want to share that control and that equality within the home, they need to be by themselves. That's what I think. But I just thought that was a fun little picture. Now, my mom didn't like the idea of it being what Dad had, so she made me change it to calling it a tail. So I'm like, okay. And so I was so mad because I wanted it to be the thing that Dad had. And she's like, "Well, why would you do that?" And I told her, I remember telling her, I said, "Well, I think yours fell off or something." I remember rationalizing that in my brain that Mom didn't have one of those. Dad had one. Mom didn't have one. And I thought Mom should have one. And I really do think to this day in my little brain, I was trying to give Mom some equality in the home, thinking Mom should have one of those things, because she was crying all the time and they were always fighting all the time. And, I didn't know why, but I just knew Mom was really unhappy all the time. That's all I knew. The thing is, if Mama ain't happy, ain't no one happy, and you know what? Things here in the United States, when Mama ain't happy, ain't no one happy. And I don't project things getting any better anytime soon, because if something is not done to help Mama out, no matter how Mama is, whether she wants to work or whether she doesn't want to work, which Mom is always working in the home, outside of the home. She's always working all the time. So that means that thank you, Masked While Mysterious. Masked While Mysterious. And so, um, yeah. So that's where my little brain went with that story, was when I was in kindergarten, was that mom should have one of those things, because, but then I had to, when I grew older, I had to kind of realize that, mom just, I think, was trying to protect me from saying something wrong in school, which I'd already done. I'd already done it. The teacher didn't pay attention nor care that I drew a wiener on my mom, which I did. But I was just mad because mom made me change it to calling it a tail instead of the thing that dad had. And I remember telling mom that it's the thing that dad has. I remember trying to explain to mom what it was, because she was probably kind of intimidating me a little bit, when she was drilling me about what it was. So the thing I do remember being 5 years old was saying, well, it's that thing that dad has between his legs. And mom is like, well, you can't draw that. That's not very nice. I don't have one of those things. Just remember, I don't have one of those things. Now, is there anything else you would like to call it? And I think I remember saying, well, I can scribble it out and make it something else. And I said, well, no, then we can just say that you have a tail. And she's, okay, that's better. And so mom thought it would be better that I put a tail on mom instead of one of the things that dad has. So mom has a tail. Mom has a cat tail. So mom is the cat, and dad has the thing that dad has. And so yeah. This is a true story too. It was a chef's kiss. It is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're just having a little bit of fun here. It's fun telling these stories on myself, because, the thing is, once I'm gone, um, then I'm gone. And, uh, so, I like to share things. The thing is, it's like being on YouTube all these decades actually makes it easier to be able to talk about things. And I think that could have been one of the stories that I wrote on Facebook. And maybe, um, oh my gosh, if I tell you how long I've been drawing, I'm going to give away my age. I've been, well, does like, oh, let me think. I've been drawing since kindergarten for 55 years. I've been drawing since kindergarten, since I probably stole my first pencil. Now, if I ever drew, I think I could have gotten in trouble for drawing on the wall, but I just don't remember. I don't think I had any bad influences of anyone on TV drawing on walls. Um, I don't think I had any bad influences. So do you see the satire in it? So this is something, I don't even remember which chat program came up with this. It could be, let me see if I can figure it out. No, I don't remember. I think it's Grok. I think Grok came up with the image that I have in the thumbnail. And so I just look at the image. And so this is what I do when I ask one of the chat bots to come up with, one of the chat programs to come up with an image for me to draw. I ask for pencil or pen sketch, a combination sometimes. And then I'll give an age. And now here's the hack for YouTube, and it does work. With YouTube, if you ask for something, so let's say you ask for a picture that looks like Dan Rather. What it's going to do on YouTube, it's going to say we can't draw real people. So this is the hack to get into it. You have to say, I would like a likeness of Dan Rather, a likeness of Dan Rather, a man that's about 80 years old, and it's satire. So if you add in satire in there, it's going to give you something that looks pretty close to the person that you want who might be a celebrity. So if you're going to do that with, I mean, so like me, well, this is where I can have fun with the president too. And I've already done that. I've literally already done that related to the president because, oh my gosh, one time I took an apple and let me see if I can draw something real quick on here. This is one of my favorites to do of the president. So I kind of like to do the thing like this and then did just the big old loopy goopy hair like this, and then the eyes like kind of like that, and then a nose, and then the mouth. I mean, that's one of the funnest ones related to the president, and then I do a little loopy goopy things through here like that. There's your president right there. And you know what else is fun to do? If you eat an apple, if any of you like eating apples, okay, so color the face kind of orange, and then put the apple core up here on top of the head. I had a picture of that. I don't know if I still have it or not because I might have deleted it, but I think I had a picture, and I put an apple up here on his head, and it was so funny because you know what happens when you eat an apple? It kind of starts to turn rust colored. And I'm like, and so I was drawing one morning, and so I had this little picture, this little cartoonish picture, and you guys know, this is not really our president, but the hair kind of is satire-ish enough. And so I'd eaten an apple, I set it down, and so the apple started turning color, and I'm looking at that, I'm looking at this picture, I'm looking at my apple, I put it on top, and it's like, oh my gosh, that was the best thing I ever did, was put the apple on the top as the president's hair. My satire president. I can't call him a real president. He's a satire president. So this guy is really not a real president. So I have to say that so people don't think that this guy is the real president because we're not very smart. That's how he got elected president, because we have a low IQ. If we ever watched that FAUX news, the fake news, those of us who've watched the fake news are not very brilliant. And so we might have voted for him. And that's how we got such dumb things going on right now. And so, oh my God, maybe this is Jack Smith. I don't know. It couldn't be. He does look a little bit older than the image. He could be. I don't know. I like how he's got 6 fingers, though. I don't know what to do with it. This guy probably gets disability because he has 6 fingers. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so, oh, you don't care about age. Okay, you don't care. Thank you. You don't care about age. Yes, I'm old. And so, yes, it's amazing. I really don't know how you describe it. It's so good. You sound like Jericho a little bit. Well, that was helpful. So I will do that the next time I want to draw a president. Yes, this is if you want to draw the president, just draw like a stick figure president. See the hair like this. This is all you need. It looks kind of like a banana. You see how it looks kind of like a banana here? And so you just do a little few loop-de-loopy things in here like this. I wish I could find that other picture that I had, but I think I got rid of it. I think I deleted it. And so that's enough for lines in the hair. And then you kind of blend it. You'll do a little bit of orange and yellow and reds. You can kind of blend them in. Then you can do some little circles right here and here to make the face blush colored. And there's also some significant things related to the nose. This is too pointy of a nose for the president, though. And oh, the squinty. There's 2 of them. There's another one too, though. The squinty eyes. The squinty eyes, kind of like this. There's two types of them like that. And so, and then the big bushy eyebrows. You're gonna, do you see that? The big bushy eyebrows. So there's a couple of them related to the likeness. So the hack is with photos. AI will always tell you that they can't do real people, which is true. It can't. So you have to say a likeness of a human. So if you want a human, you have to say, I would like this in the likeness of a woman who is 55 years old. She is 800 pounds. She has some worms crawling around on her hair like Methuselah, and God is off over in the background somewhere. And it does it perfect. It comes up with the best things. Sometimes it speaks different languages. Sometimes it speaks English. If you tell it to speak English, it will. It will sing for you. You can ask AI to sing songs, and it tells you things perfectly. And so mine today has improved, and so it actually, instead of just doing 4 images, it was giving me 8. It was giving me 8 to 10 images, and I was shocked. I mean, it started giving me a lot more options. As time passes, it gives me a lot more options, which is so nice. Yeah, you have been here a long time. I've been on here for 41 minutes. Well, thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. I try to do things that are fun and engaging to include people, so we're, doing things and learning them together. So you see how ridiculous these eyebrows are? So these are another one related to the president's eyebrows. So you can do 2 of them. You can do the big kind of bugged out looking eyes, but he's more like this. This is the mean evil eyes. They're kind of squinty, and you know how he has they're really squinty. But this is kind of like the man baby. The man, everybody loves man baby president, man baby Donald. We all love to, because he's trolling the United States. That's all he's doing, is trolling the United States. It does look like fire, doesn't it? His hair does look like a flame. Absolutely, it does. It looks like, did you guys know today is the winter solstice? Today is it's 1221. So today is December 21st. So, well, let's put it on here so we can see. Today is 12, which is the 12th calendar month, and then it's the 21st. So we've got an ambigram going on here. So we would put it upside down. So it's like 1E, E1. No, it's still upside down, but it looks like an E, doesn't it? Kind of. And then we've got this creepy looking president right here. This is the president. So if you want to find the president, this is what the president looks. Do you want a heart eyes president? Let's do a heart eyes president. Okay, we'll do heart eyes. We'll make a heart eyes president. Look, this should be fun. Okay, so we'll kind of do the same thing. We'll make some fire for hair. We're going to make it fiery hair. Okay, like that. We're going to draw the big old fat head. He's got to have a big old fat head. And then you know how he has that little poochy mouth like that. Ooh. And I didn't leave enough room for the eyebrows. I was going to draw the weird... Well, I still can. Okay, let's see how this looks. We'll draw some really weird eyebrows like they're like that. Okay, we got to make him look really ridiculous. The thing is the more you satire it up, the more ridiculous you make him look, then it's satire. And he likes the attention. You know that, don't you? That's the only reason he does what he does, is because he likes the attention. Okay, so how would I put an eyelid? Oh, we're going to put eyelids in our hearts like that. Okay, so we've got some heart eyelids there. And he looks completely ridiculous now, doesn't he? I kind of like those eyes, though. He looks completely ridiculous. Is that, maybe this is his son? Is that Jared or Don Jr. maybe? Don Jr. Daddy, I went on The Bachelor and I got a rose, but then she didn't want to get married to me. Um, uh, Daddy, she didn't want to get married to me. I lost on The Bachelor, and all I got was the rose. Daddy, yeah. Daddy, Daddy, I want a girl. Can you buy a girl for me for Christmas? Daddy, please buy me a girl for Christmas. My girl don't want to get married to me. Oh goodness. Okay, let's just mess it up completely, and we'll make a big old forked, tongue coming out of the liar's mouth, like that. There you go. It's supposed to be a big old forked tongue, but I don't know that it looks like it. Like you know how a snake has a forked tongue, and he was always reading about the snake. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. I've actually found a picture of myself on Pinterest when I was reading The Snake. Or, no, yeah, I did read The Snake. I actually made a poem, too, another poem. And nobody's going to remember this from my original YouTube channel. So I had this sequin top that was kind of like a tank top. And so I put my hair up, and I think I put a little hair gel in it because my hair is kind of messy and doesn't like to stay in place anyway. So I put some hair gel in, and I made myself look like I was, I tried to make myself look like I was like a rich person, you know, someone who was affluent and kind of like Masterpiece Theater. And so I was sitting in front of a green screen, and I was reading a Thanksgiving poem that I'd made up in front of a green screen, and then I put in a ship, like a merchant cargo ship, and it was at the time when he was talking about all the catch and release and the aliens coming in, and so there was a merchant ship that was out in the ocean, and so I put it on a green screen in the software, and because I was just sitting in front of a green screen in a chair in a bedroom, and so I put this merchant ship behind me the old-fashioned way. Now we don't even have to do any of that. AI just does it for us, and so I put I put that in and read my poem. And I remember I read The Snake too. That was kind of fun. And it was like, but for me it was a challenge, you know, the green screen. And I remember laying outside, covering up with my green screen because it was fleece, and I thought, no, there's really no need for my green screen anymore. And that was during the time that I think I was in the house during the year-long temporary protective order. And so yeah, I had a chair that I was able to sit in and cover up, and I had a little margarita. Little did I know that I wasn't going to be able to predict what happened, and that you know, things in the state that I live in are so horrific, and there's so much corruption that I don't even know I'm going to have to say it. I'm going to have to come right out. Oh, let's see. Mask While Mysterious says, I love this. It is funny, amazing, and entertaining. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, this is what I think, that this is what's happening. I have to tell you what's happening in the state of Georgia. There is so much corruption out of we need to call it Fantlanta. Fantlanta, Fanny Lanta. Yeah, Fanny Lanta. So there's so much corruption. So she is dropping dimes that Nate Wade actually doubled his payments from the J6 Commission in Washington, D.C. So this is alleged. So they're doing an investigation right now into the corruption. Money is being allegedly dumped into the state of Georgia from the J6 Commission, from the lefties, into the state of Georgia related to the corruption of Donald Trump. I always wondered, who's funding it? Who's funding it? Fanny's dropping dimes. So even though she did some things maybe that was wrong, so Nate Wade was actually, he was doubling up on his billable hours. So Fanny was saying that it's only like $250 an hour that they're supposed to be billing for billable hours. Now, nobody wants to do, none of the lawyers want to do state work or county work because they don't pay enough. So that's why they go into private practice to make more money. And I'm thinking that is one of the worst business plans I've ever heard in my life, because you're going to have to get a corporation of some sort to be paying you to, and it's like, nope, you're putting yourself out of business. That something is going to put the lawyers out of business too, because as the prices go higher, then the lawyers are not even going to be able to afford to pay for their buildings. They're going to go bankrupt too. They're going to all go out of business. All of these lawyers are going to go out of business and bankrupt. So, and there's no way they can do this business from home, because that wouldn't be professional to be bringing clients into your home, nor would it be a hotel room. I actually projected this back in 2021 because during COVID, and I thought, well, gosh, what it'll, and me, I was being called crazy and insane by my idiot ex-husband, and I'm thinking, well, the direction this is going with everybody doing stuff at home, it's not very professional to think of any type of government business doing business out of a hotel room. I mean, so you guys really think that you're going to do business out of a hotel room and actually Fanny had talked about that. She talked about that. I've been doing YouTube for going on 20 years. 20? I was paid at one time. I'm not no more. Because I lost my business because of legacy media and the networks. I lost what I was doing on YouTube. And so I believe that there's probably, I don't know if Google has lawyers. I am assuming that they do. I don't know who they are, if they do have them. I think that Google recognizes, and YouTube. I don't know if there's YouTube lawyers or not. I have no idea. I have nothing. I know nothing about that side of their business. But I think they know that there's some corrupt practices coming out of legacy media that hurts the Google business. Oh, you've been doing it for 1 year? Yeah, I've been doing YouTube for 20 years, and I've seen the corrupt practices. I would be what you would call, I don't even know if I should, this is why I'm incognito. I would be called a whistleblower related to bad practices. So if you're going to do stuff on the internet, I mean, well, they flaunt it. I've always called it the elephant in the room. So they talk about the bad practices that they do. I started listening to the president when he was running for president. I'm like, this man is telling what he does. He's telling everything that he does related to the bad practices and it comes out of media. And even oh, what's her name? Oh, Roseanne Barr. She talked about it too. And so they started doing this on the internet. And so I think I kind of am suspect they were doing it the way they did because they're under a non-disclosure agreement, and so there's things they're not supposed to talk about. But if they split it up in half, and so one person does one thing, and then they use their persona to, that's how they did it. They create a persona in another way. They know how to make their self up to not look like their self, and they can use AI as well. Then they can actually tell everything that's going on. But I'm just sitting here watching all of this go on, you know. And so the thing is, when I use my real name, then someone else comes on the attack against me because of the fact that I'm telling on what they're doing. It's like, well, wait a minute, you guys literally are really using people from foreign countries to interfere with elections, and now you're bringing them to the United States of America to cause inflation and to build homes and to pay the migrants less money. And it's like, okay, I'm, you know, so I've explained things. It's like, I'm not, oh, you have to go. Thank you. Thank you, Maskwell, Mr. Yeah, they don't want to hear anymore. I must be talking. I've got to be talking to a lawyer. I must be. I've got to be talking to a lawyer. I think that's when he says he's got to go, I'm talking to a lawyer. I know I am. Um, I guess I should have shut up if I wanted him to stay. I guess that's how it always works, isn't it? It was not too much talk. Oh, it wasn't too much talking. So let me ask you this before you go. I know you said you have to go, and I'll let you go. Is writing an email too much? Like writing? Is there such a thing as writing too much email in email? There is. Writing too much in the email. So you'd rather hear it on YouTube than in the email. Okay. No, not okay. Yes or no. So okay, there's not such a thing as writing too much in email either. Okay. Well, if I ever have a lawyer to write to, oh, there's not too much writing. Okay, so if I ever have a lawyer that I can write to, I will write to that man, or even a woman too, you know, I mean, because the thing is, it's like if they want to know what's going on, I'm going to write to them, you know, because they did put out a call years ago. They wanted to know how things were working. And it's like, I can explain this and I can come. Oh, one of the best ones I came up with earlier today, I thought was, I called it redacted transparency. Redacted transparency. You know, I mean, so, um, you know, that's how the left works. You know, if you have something, it's like, well, the right, they're both, I agree, both sides are empty wagons making a lot of noise. And they're not helping any of us. So they're both guilty of redacted transparency. Oh, you have to go again? No, I want you to stay. Please. Oh, oh no. I know, I'm talking to a lawyer. I have to be. See, every time he says he has to go, I knew it. I knew it. All right. But I love talking to lawyers. I do. Absolutely. Yes, I do. I really do. I would talk to a lawyer on the phone if I could. Yeah, I want you to stay. I don't care if a lawyer is here. I'm not doing anything wrong. Okay. Oh, you will stay. Good. Good. You can stay. Because I'm not, I mean, you can, if you're really a lawyer, you can tell me that you're a lawyer and I don't care because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not part of a network. But the network people, There's a big difference between YouTubers and network people. I'm not under a non-disclosure agreement. I'll tell you that right now. Google, well, someone at Google tried to put me under one, and then I started. But see, I was under a non-disclosure agreement, but it was written by a lawyer. It had to have been. I'm. I don't care that you're not a lawyer. I really don't, because you can learn things from this too. So, I was under a non-disclosure agreement from Google, but what it said was, it says if you figure out how the algorithm works outside of your non-disclosure agreement in some other way, then you're not bound to stay silent. That's what it told me. So my non-disclosure agreement was really weird. It was basically like a non-disclosure agreement that was meaningless. Yeah, and so Google, another thing Google taught us too is how to break non-disclosure agreements. And oh, this one was really good too. So how you break a non-disclosure agreement is kind of like the forked tongue here. You know, where you have this side is saying one thing, this side is saying something else, and then the truth lands right here in the middle. And that's what legacy media has been doing. And even the president himself has said a lot of things related to corrupt business practices that's taking place in media. And my theory, well, okay. Okay, so this is even the crumpled paper thing too. So for example, if you have something that you print out on a piece of paper, or even a receipt, or let's say you take a receipt, you cover it up, you cover up the important information on the receipt or the paper, you just type up a paper and then you crumple it near where someone you want to see it is at for some reason. And there's nothing on there. There's nothing on the paper. So it would be like, for example, if you go into a spreadsheet and you put some things into the spreadsheet, but you erase, you get rid of all the information identifying, then you can make something transparent because there's no person's name, there's no business name, there's no nothing there. But then it might get a person thinking about something. You said hi. Hi. And so let me tell you another one too. And so, okay, I'm not a lawyer my own self, but I learned things from going to the courthouse. Okay, so I went to the courthouse one time. I was taking pictures at my local courthouse, and nobody made me leave the courthouse for taking pictures because it's a museum. It's my courthouse is more or less a museum. If it's even standing anymore, I don't even know if it is. But I went into the courthouse after doing some jury duty or something. And so I was sitting down on the main floor where they have court and stuff on the first floor. And so I'm just sitting in this place, minding my own business. Next thing you know, this lawyer pops up with another lawyer, and they're talking about a case in the hallway. And I'm just thinking, wait a minute, isn't this privileged information? So you guys are actually out in the hallway talking to each other in the hallway about privileged information in front of me. potentially about a case. Now, I have no idea what the case is. They're talking about their client or a client. I have no idea if it's a criminal or if it's a civil matter or a criminal matter or if it's a procedural matter. I have no idea what it is, you know, a recorded type matter. I have no idea what it is, but they're out in the hallway talking about this stuff. And I'm thinking, and I mean, this has happened on numerous occasions when I've been in the courthouse. And I've thought, well, aren't you violating the non-disclosure agreement that attorneys are under right now? That's what I was thinking. So, I mean, because I know that lawyers are put under non-disclosure agreements, but I've never been a lawyer, ever. So it's like, well, why would a lawyer up some, and that's what Google was always talking about. They said, don't, with YouTube at the beginning, they were saying, well, don't try to lawyer your way out of something. And I was like, well, absolutely, you should, you know, because the thing is with the internet, look at what's happened with the internet. So if you don't lawyer your way out of, or try to use logic in some different manner, we end up with censorship. And that's what's happening. And see, that's what legacy media has been doing, is using lawyers to actually censor the internet. And they've been using they've been using the child logic against the internet, saying, oh, the internet is too polluted and filthy and dirty. And so then they get the church groups and they get everybody up in arms against the internet. And it's like, well, you ruined our jobs for us. You know, it could have been something for everybody to be able to do, but now you've taken jobs away because you wanted everybody to be watching cable TV. Oh, this is, it says, this went from drawing video to talking video, but I don't mind at all. That is now a talking video. Absolutely, yes. Commentary, talking, yes. And so let me ask you this now, too, because I know some of the billboard lawyers have actually, what does that have to do with the music billboards that YouTube was talking about? They said that they're not going to be using the billboard metrics anymore. That was in a video the other day. I didn't want to lose my train of thought on this. Now I just did. Oh, crap. I wish I could rewind my video and hear what I was talking about. So I was talking about the direction of, come on, thought, come back to me, what I wanted to talk about. I hate it when that happens. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes it happens. Well, it's related to challenging the internet with, I think it was related to something with the past and challenging the internet with how things work. But see, when you have networks and networks of people, and I used to think that it was just made up stories when they were talking about all the people in foreign countries. But no, I had no idea there was millions of people, you know, and you know how someone else is going to take your job away from you. And so related to, was I talking about the lawyers that, my thought just came back to me. Let me get it out before I forget what it is. Okay, so for example, Comcast. So now you're going to have people who are migrants advertising Comcast down in Venezuela and in China and Russia and India. They're going to be advertising Comcast over in those countries, because I remember one of those Farrah and Farrah, I think it was a Farrah and Farrah commercial, and they said, what they said is, Doc Compton. Miss Vanel. Is Miss Vanel here? Oh my goodness, Miss Vanel is here. Isla, what are you doing here, Miss Vanel? Oh my goodness. He likes Isla better than he likes Beverly now. He don't like Beverly anymore. He likes Miss Vanel. And so, TikTok.com. And he's got such a beautiful wife too. She sings. She just sings, and he loves what he does. He goes to Las Vegas all the time, doing the hearts, and um, so anyway, I was just thinking, okay, so Farrah and Farrah had this commercial because they're like a billboard attorney, and we got to poke fun at billboard attorneys. We got to give them more jobs than just slip and fall. There's more jobs that billboard attorney can do than just slip and fall, and I've I mean I've been thinking I've come up with a lot of them and have had a lot of ideas, and I come up with them all the time. Like you could have paper cut billboard attorney, right? Absolutely, we can come up with paper cut or shaving billboard attorney. If you're shaving with a razor and you cut yourself, there should be some type of stipulation that you can sue the razor companies over injuries from a razor when you cut yourself. I would think. So I mean, so if we're going into nonsense land, and that's where the internet has gone into. But anyway, Farrah and Farrah was talking about how they didn't intend on being a worldwide attorney. Well, and my son had mentioned something at one time. They called themselves they said people were calling the military the worldwide police. So then Farrah and Farrah followed suit with that and said, well, we didn't intend on being a worldwide attorney. Well, then you have Comcast, I believe, is going out of business, Comcast Xfinity, because they outsourced to China. And so they had all these people from China and Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So that is a fact that stuff is taking place. Comcast contributed to it because they hired all the foreign workers. And I believe that Comcast, I don't know if they have brought people into the United States or not, but then now you're going to get people who are in India who are pushing rickshaws. They're pushing rickshaws, and they have Comcast advertised on the side of their rickshaw in India. Now, do you think anybody is going to know what Comcast or Xfinity is advertised in India? I really don't. But it's going to be, should I do a drawing video while watching? Yeah, absolutely do a drawing video while watching this video. If you can, yeah. I don't have the ability to do both, but some of you other folks have the ability to be able to do two streams at the same time. I don't have that. I can only do one. And so I'm just trying to get my 4,000 watch hours right now and on YouTube. And I don't know how TikTok is going to work. I don't know how TikTok is going to work, if someone's going to buy it or if it's going to go out of business. I have no idea. Some people are saying there's a man, an American man, who actually owns TikTok right now. So there could be some stories being told related to. Do you have a question? You can ask a question if you have a question. My gosh, if there was people, if I knew wanted to be on camera, I would do the double stream and we could have a conversation on video. I actually prefer real life conversations though, because they're a lot more fun. And I think a lot of times it's kind of sad because conversation is missed. Okay, when you write something, it seems cold and isolating, and it really seems like people are angrier than, it seems like people can be angry about something when they're not. And that's something I've always noticed. When you write something, sometimes it just seems really painful. Oh, you forgot to do the question mark at the end of the text. Yeah, you could do a drawing while you're watching. If you want to draw this man or draw something else, or, you know, whatever you want to do, you do it while you're watching, you know. It's not my place to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. Um, oh, you don't need to ask a question. Okay. And so, my gosh, this guy looks so sad. Um, he looks, um, I got that down pretty good. I could add in a little bit more shading in here. Just a little bit. And so, I believe I read Neil Moynihan is still the CEO of Google right now. But I don't know what's going to happen in the state of Georgia related to the election, because I know I was listening to a video of Fanny yesterday, and she was saying, well, the people of Georgia were cheated of some election or something like that. And so she's kind of taken on. I don't think that the the thing that the president used, I don't think that's going to work for anybody else anymore, because nobody wants to hear about they're out to get me, they're out to get me. And that's what he ran based off of, was the government is out to get him. And it's like, well, that's the whole thing related to what corporations and people who are making money are always talking about. They're having to pay more and more. It's like, my gosh, I was never a corporation. And there was times that I paid up to 60%. I was just a housewife. And I was paying up to 60% in taxes because, okay, so, and this is how I'm going to count it. Now, Google took 45%. I got 55%. Sometimes I got 70%. So there was the percentages were all different for different times. So I counted that. And then, you can see that on your analytics when you go in, and you can see that Google takes 45%. Well, then there was times there was a woman who advised me related to taxes, and she said, well, if you want to be on the safe side, pay 35% in your quarterly earnings. And so I did that one time, and then I realized I was paying too much. So I started paying more around. I found that paying more around 20 to 25% was better. But then I realized what my husband was doing. He went and he was doing exemptions at work, and so he set it so we would always get money back. Well, you know what happened? This is how money transfers from a person who's earning money to someone else through taxes. So he changed his exemptions because he was on a payroll, so he would then get the tax money to his account, and then he would want to keep the money. He wouldn't give it to me. So I often thought, well, what good is it? And so I asked the woman every year. So I was using H&R Block one year, and I asked her, I said, well, now who would the money have gone to related to getting the money back? And she's like, oh, you. I mean, it was just a clear cut you. She says, you would have gotten the money back. So the problem was that he was just asking for more and more and more money, and so he was just like basically keeping the money. So it was like, if you have one person earning a lot of money and you file jointly and he's on a payroll, then he cuts everything off where he pays. Well, he puts in all his exemptions, as many as he can, so he pays less in taxes. Or wait, so he pays, less. And so then he would get, so he's not paying any taxes on his end, but then I'm picking up the costs, and then it goes to him come time to file taxes because you can only file it in one account. And so I was the one who was getting screwed over the whole time because I had with YouTube, the money was good. It was decent. It helped pay for a house that I don't get to live in anymore, making me homeless. And so then, so it went from me to him in that way. So it's like, well, what good is the business tax when you're tied to a married person? So what good, so the thing is, if we could have done married filing separate and both paid more taxes, but married filing jointly is less taxes, but then he was overbearing, he wanted to keep the money, he was a control freak. He made more money that way. And so he set himself up to do what he did to me. It's like, well, okay, it was a great big old fat lie. He should have never gotten married to me to begin with, ever. I will do a melting smiley face. What would that look like to be in your drawing? A melting smiley face in your drawing book? Let's see what I can. A melting smiley face. Melting? Yeah. Okay, let's do a melting smiley face. Kind of like, okay, let's do a melting smiley face, kind of like this. Like that. I know it looks kind of creepy. It's supposed to. Yeah, that's pretty good. I hope you can see that there. Melting smiley face like that. Okay, so let's draw. What kind of. Okay, let's just draw regular emoji eyes like this. We could make them melting too. Okay, so let's do. Let's do it kind of like this. Do we want to add some melting on the face? Yeah, we could. Let's see how it looks. A melting smiley face. We'll do little drips and dripping down like that. Something like that. Little drips here. That looks pretty good. Let's draw some drips over here too. Yeah, melting all over. We'll draw a drip here coming down out of the eye. The whole face has to be melting, doesn't it? Like that. A melting face. Let's draw a drip coming out of the center of the eye. That would be kind of cool. We'll do a little drippy drip right out the center of the... Oh, that's gross. It's almost gross. I like that, though. Actually, it kind of looks a little bit like an octopus, sort of, but no, it's a smiley face emoji. Melting smiley face emoji right there. Something like that. That looks pretty good. Fire and ice. Wait, let's do this. Let's hit our pineal gland here. Maybe we should call it a pineal gland. A pineal gland for fire. So let's draw a little fire right here like this. It kind of looks like Trump here, but it's a fire blaze right there. Oh, we're going to make a little blaze right there like that. So we've got a little bit of fire going on right here in the center by our pineal gland. Our pineal gland is really, really important for some reason. I don't know why, but this is our third eye by our pineal gland. It's not a pineal gland right now. It's a pineal gland. F-I-N-E-A-L or N-I-L-E, pineal gland. So it's a fire gland instead of pineal. We can now call our third eye our pineal gland. How about like this? We'll write it out. F-I-N-E-A-L. There, I just made up a word. You guys can use it in the future for our pineal gland. Um, because we don't know where medical got this junk from to begin with anyway. Now, do we? Somebody had to make it up. So somebody made up pineal gland. Well, I want to call it a pineal gland in the brain now. And this guy is, oh, he looks so sad. Oh my gosh, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Oh my goodness sakes. And so there's drip face melting emoji, and we've got the fire up here, the ice is down here. Should we draw some dripping ears? Let's draw some dripping ears, and it's dripping down like this, and they're kind of gross like that. Oh, it looks pretty good. And we'll draw another dripping ear over here like this. Yeah, he's dripping all over, dripping and melting all over. There's fire up here in the pineal gland. And it's burning everything and melting it because fire and ice makes the world go round. And you know what's so fascinating is that Mount St. Helens, there's the guy, I hope he's still living. He's been trying to get the message out about the glacier on Mount St. Helens. So after Mount St. Helens erupted, I believe it was 1980 or 81, 80, I think it was 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted, and since then a glacier has formed there, but it's covered in soot, so it's hard to see from the sky, from the satellites, and from the imagery. But he has gone there, and he said there's a glacier there, so that high up in the mountain. So even though there is fire coming out of the volcano, and it might erupt at times, and I would imagine the same thing in Hawaii. I would think there'd be glaciers in Hawaii. So there's varying degrees of what glaciers are. Some of the glaciers are like thousands of miles big, others are smaller. You know, a glacier is a floating river of ice that's coming out of the mountain. And so, but they become really, really tall and impacted. And so, for example, okay, we always hear about lake effect snow in the wintertime. We hear about lake effect snow. So lake effect snow is like when it freezes, so mist comes up, so you have warm waters, but mist comes up and maybe some warm air from the south or something, and then cold air from the north, they converge and they create lake effect snow, and then it comes down and it snows. Think of the same thing next to a volcano. So when you have cold and snow, so there's heat coming out of the volcano, it goes up into the atmosphere, snow comes down because it's producing steam. Steam is water, so it's getting water from somewhere. And I know there was a lake there called Spirit Lake next to Mount St. Helens. I remember this stuff. Don't ask me how. I'm old. I'm not supposed to remember any of this stuff. You're making fire hair. Cool. Are you making the fire hair like any one of these? Oh, we've got upside down. Yeah, fire hair works. Yeah, fire hair works for the future. Because we don't want to give it that T name. We want to give it the F name, fire hair. I think fire hair will... Yeah, we could reach this out, fire hair. And so Mount St. Helens and the glacier at Mount St. Helens. So I learned this later on as an old person in life about the glacier. And if it wasn't for YouTube, I would not know that there was a glacier on Mount St. Helens. I'm wondering how many other glaciers there are. So I was wondering about Glacier National Park and where the glaciers are on Glacier National Park. But yeah, we do need some fire up here too, because the fire and the ice, it doesn't matter where it's at. I am making it look like actual fire, and I will make it fire colors. Okay, that's great. That is great. Make it fire colors. Yeah, I do have colored pencils, but I just don't have them with me in this room where I'm at right now. Um, but I do still have my colored pencils and things. Um, I was just trying to um, not bring a bunch of stuff into where I'm at right now, and to just try to be minimal with what I bring. Um, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, fire, kind of like fire devil horns. Kind of, yeah, that's sort of cool. Fire devil horns there. That would be really pretty through here, kind of a glowing, a reddish yellow to orange. Red, yellow to orange, kind of a blend of the fire colors there like that. So I'm going to have to wait till, yeah, it is cool. I actually think this would be fun if I improved it and tried to make it better. But actually, now I have to wait till tomorrow though before I can actually do any more photo to video. Well, no, I take that back. I take that back. Kind of, because it's like what I'm doing right now with my live stream is photo to video, because every single frame in the live stream is a photo. And so these just sitting still like this with me not doing anything, then, you know, they're photos to video. And so I've got a lot. So technically our live streams are photo to video. So I wanted to say that because, you know, that takes me back to the thing where, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I was going to just remind myself about when I took and put like over 1,000 GIF images on a CD and took it to the courthouse for, well, I watched this crime take place in the middle of the street, and I uploaded a video to YouTube, and there was this lawyer, this woman, she's like, you take that video down, you take that video down, I'm a lawyer, you take that video down because a crime took place and we can't have you putting that on the internet. And I didn't take the, I think I made it private for a little bit. And then eventually, after the trial was over that they paid me, they called me into court, and I never testified or anything like that. And I gave them, I gave both sides the information. Because, you know, after watching the OJ trial, my gosh, and they were like, oh, well, the other side doesn't want to share information with us. And Marsha Clark, oh, this is like splitting hairs. We only have 2 hairs, and we can't split the hairs and share it with the other side. I mean, it was so ridiculous. It's like, why not? So I got two DVDs, and I put the information on both sides. I gave one side to the prosecutor, and then I gave the information to the lawyer who had been in contact with me. She gave me her email, and so I just volunteered and did the work myself and shared the information with both sides. And it's like, well, you guys go through it and figure it out, because they were pretty much telling me at the time, one of the guys from the Blue Angels, when the Blue Angels crashed in 2007, well, that's redacted because I didn't want it to go on CNN. But so anyway, I liked them too. They were cute. It's like, oh my gosh, at that time I was like, Why did I have to get married to my second husband? These guys are so handsome. They're about my age, and when she said take the video down, yeah, she told me to take the video down. The lawyer did. The lawyer told me to take the video down. It was on, I had a channel, a YouTube channel. She told me to take the video down. Now, this was over, oh my gosh, I want to say so bad where it was at. It was in a tourist area. And I'm not in a tourist area. Even though we can most definitely poke fun of where we're at as being in the tourist area. It was over in a tourist area. It was on a road. How do I identify? You know the New York City Bowl? It's to the east. And Sweet 16. The vicinity, I think 34th Street. And so, anyway, there was, oh gosh, what is the name of that place? Oh. I think I know where the, however you spell it, the new NYC. Isn't there like a yams that crawl of a village up there somewhere? And so anyway, yeah, they're always poking fun at that on Craigslist. And so anyway, we were driving in the truck, just going down the 4-lane road. And so like the old courthouse was on the left side of the road. We're kind of headed past. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we were headed down that road towards, I think it was 34th Street there. There used to be an old house, a dilapidated old house, and I think there was a KFC in the area. But I don't know if that old house is still there or not, if it's been torn down, but it was an eyesore that people complained about it. And so anyway, there was this guy in a green jumpsuit, and there was 2 cops. Let's just call him Salt and Pepper. We'll call him Salt and Pepper. That works out perfect. Nobody gets offended by that, right? We'll call him Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper was chasing Pepper. Pepper was in a green jumpsuit, and it looked like he had on black Army combat boots. He was running down the road. They were tasering this guy. So they came out from the village place on the right-hand side of the road, crossed over in front of us. Then they were throwing down. They were in the middle of the road. There was like a median in the middle of the road. They were throwing down with each other, with the cop. And so this guy would get up, and then the cops were tasering him. And I'm thinking, how in the world is the taser going through his jumpsuit? Because it looks pretty darn thick canvas right there. To me, it looked that, so the cop, he stopped his car. Now, there was people on my that channel was not very well known at all. And actually I changed the name of it. I think I called it Nature's Lullaby. And so it was, I believe it was 2BTIME, something like that, because I had an email that was 2BTYME at one time. And so anyway, she writes to me because we had inboxing. So the lawyer writes to me, and she told me to take the video down. I recorded. It was so exciting. I recorded the whole thing. This was Sunday night, 6 o'clock, when most normal people are, you would think, are in, spending time with their family. And it's like, it's not even tourist season. But this guy comes out of nowhere from the village, crosses the road. The cops are chasing him. One cop is chasing him, and then there's another cop that I think, yeah, there was a cop car. Or was there a cop car? No, I don't remember. I don't think there was a cop car. We just stopped in the middle of the road. I don't think there was a cop car. So they came out from the village, and I had a camera at the time, and so they're doing this fighting in the middle of the road. So and I'm like, I can't believe I'm actually watching this. That's what I was thinking. I cannot believe I'm actually watching this in the middle of the road, and they are tasering this man. And I'm like, he's got on this really thick canvas. It looked like a jail jumpsuit to me. And why he had on a jail or a mechanic's uniform, it was one of the two. So the jail jumpsuits and the mechanic's uniforms, they kind of look like each other. And so I didn't know, either that or he was escaped from prison or something. I don't know. And so he was in the middle of the median, and the cops were wrestling with him in the middle of the road. They really weren't punching each other, but they were trying to, they didn't have out any weapons of mass destruction or anything like that. They weren't pulling out any firearms. They just had a taser. That's all they had, was a taser. And so, I mean, it was kind of exciting watching it happen. Then they went over by this other house, and they were on the sidewalk, and this guy just kept getting back. He kept barreling back up. He had all this energy, and he'd pop back up like he was on a bunch of steroids or something. And then the cops, one guy was really short. He was like, maybe both of them were kind of short, and they were trying to get this great big old guy down. And so they'd sometimes get him down, he'd get back up, then they tasered him, and I think it was just stuck to his jumpsuit. I don't think the taser went through his jumpsuit. I don't think it did, because he just kept getting back up. He had the testosterone and energy of something like I'd never seen before, like it was unreal, like he was some kind of alien robot or something. I mean, this man, I don't know. I think they finally sat on him. The two guys were sitting on him, and I think they called for backup, and so we were finally able to go once they had him under control. So we just sat there blocking traffic and recording. I was recording at the same time. And then so I put it on YouTube. Then this woman, this attorney, she wrote to me, and she says, "You've got to take that down." And I'm like, "Well, why?" And she says, "Well, we've got a case. We need we need that footage. You need to take it down, because this man is going to have to go to court, and you can't be putting that up on the internet." This was in 2007, I believe. And she told me I had to take it down. She contacted me and told me I had to take it down. I'm not positive. I remember his name. I'd have to think for a minute. I'm not going to say it if I remember it. I don't remember what it is right offhand, but I'll remember it a little bit later. Or there's something that'll come and remind me of what his name was. I don't remember it right offhand right now. But AI will remind me, because I had it written in the description. And then I had like a thing to come to court. Now there was one woman, she told me that the police came and got her because she didn't have a car. And so I had to drive myself, so she said the police went and got her so she was like a relative of the guy. What was his name? I don't know what happened to him. I have no idea what happened with him. I tried to look it up, and I didn't find anything that came up with it later. But someone had said, oh, they were writing in the comment section on my video. That's all they were doing, was writing in the comment section on my video. Some people were saying, oh, that was my relative, and the police just went into the house, and they got him. So it was almost like it was an episode of Cops. I mean, so the things they were writing was just a bunch of stuff, and some were like, oh, that was my relative. They just, they said, well, he broke, I don't know if he broke out of jail or they said he was wanted on some warrant or something like that. If I'm telling you right now, if I was a lawyer for that city, they did so many things wrong in chasing this man down. They did not need to taser him. There was no reason for them to taser this man. They just came out of nowhere. Oh, do you want me to tell you more? I'll tell you something else about my second husband at a place that he worked at. You guys will probably find this funny too. I know I did. Now, he had a boss. I need to give his boss a fictitious name. Let's call him X. Because he's an ex-boss. That's a good name. Let's call him X. So X, they also had, let's call the higher boss Y. So they had a higher boss. They were both in the building all the time. Sometimes higher boss Y was gone. He wasn't there. So the other boss X was there. So there was one time that, and so my ex-husband, he said that his boss, he had two bosses, X and Y. So X was lower than Y. And so he said one time he caught them, he said that his boss X was a former police officer. That made him mad a little bit. I mean, he said that, he said, I don't know why he's in there because he's not qualified to be in there, but they decided to hire him. And I told him, I said, well, I mean, the man worked for, you said 30 years, right? He worked for 30 years and he retired as a police officer. I said, you don't think that what he did as a police officer is leadership skills? And my husband said, no. He says, Y came down one time and X had a big bloody nose. His nose was bleeding. Now, my husband had gone to world-class management training in somewhere near Hope, Arkansas in the year 2003. And with his work lover. And so anyway, telling too much. I'm telling too much, I think. And so anyway, but at this other job, he said, Y, who is the higher boss, thought X had broke his nose. And so they didn't report to corporate that he had broke his nose. He was the police officer and he had a broken nose. And so they said he was coming down out of some silo one time and he broke his nose, and he said he knew for a fact that they didn't report it. So this was now at the place he worked too, he also said a lot of the guys had ties to the film industry too, which was really strange. It's like, well, why would they all have ties to the film industry, and what are they doing? But he said they did, so it was an on and off thing. And so anyway, and so I started thinking, well, they might just be telling stories too. That's what I was thinking. And so at this place where he was working, it was a garbage place, recycling garbage place. Let's put it that way. So he was at a recycling garbage place. And so they shipped garbage overseas, basically, is what they were doing. They were shipping garbage overseas. Now, when I think about it, it's like, that's the weirdest business I've ever heard of, why they would ship garbage overseas. But anyway, let's get back to this place, because there's another way. So anyway, he said they covered up the boss Y, who was there before boss X took over. He was regional. The other boss was like a higher type of a manager above regional. He was like a plant manager, but he was higher than regional. And so anyway, Boss X, then he also would jump from the train cars to the dock, from the dock to the train cars, from the train cars to the dock, from the dock to the train. And okay, I'm live. Yes, it says I'm live here. Did I lose? I might have lost some drop frame rates. And so anyway, so he was saying that Boss X was jumping, doing things unsafely all the time, and Boss Y was not reporting it to corporate at all. And I said, well, why don't you do it? I just asked him, I said, why don't you do it? And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, well, you know it's not safe. Why don't you report them to corporate? He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I said, oh, okay. So you're going to let him get away with doing things that are unsafe. Okay. And so I said, well, you know, the thing you have to take into consideration, though, too, Boss X is a former police officer. I said, his job was probably more dangerous than what he's doing right now. So he's used to doing things that are dangerous. I said, you have to take into account that he has 30 years of experience under his belt in a leadership supervisor position. That's probably why they made him the plant manager. So eventually, Boss Y went away, and Boss X became the plant manager. And so my husband was really upset about that a little bit, because I think he was thinking that he might, he wanted the woman to become plant manager, because he was telling me that the woman who worked at his recycling place reminded him a lot of his work lover. You know, he just said, but he said he thought that maybe she didn't, he said he thought that maybe she had a partner, a female partner of some sort or another, but he wasn't for sure. He just said she had a roommate. And so I did meet her one time at a park where they were playing tennis, and she was a really nice lady, I thought. She reminded me a lot of Billie Jean King, kind of in her looks. You know, I liked Billie Jean King myself, because it was kind of fun to have a woman who was a tennis player, hearing about her all the time. But the story, I mean, the story about the police officer was kind of, I always thought that was fun hearing about, and sometimes he would come home, he would call me up on the phone and he'd say, well, my boss wanted me to tell you this. And, you know, sometimes he'd call me up, and then there was other times he's like, well, my boss wanted me to tell you this when I got home. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I wasn't sure why. But, you know, there was sometimes there was things that he would tell me, and he would say specifically that his boss, or one of his work, usually his boss would, well, he wanted me to tell you this. And, you know, so there was some common denominators with the names of the people that was at his business. This is so good to listen to. So it's basically like a story time with legit LightStar Hunter Liggett in California. Liggett. And Hunter. That's gotta be AI. It's gotta be AI. It can't be anybody else. I meant, yeah, I know what you meant. I know, I know how the, Beverly. Beverly. But remember, I'm not under a non-disclosure agreement though either, so I can talk about things. And I know there's other people who are under neutral and they can't. So, I think that's why, I'm not beholden to anything. And I've said that. My gosh, I'll tell you this. I don't have to be under a non-disclosure agreement to my lawyer. He was under one to me though. And the old crook. The old crook. Right? I have a right to call him an old crook. The old fart. And so I wrote him things. Now, he told me I could write to him. And he hasn't told me to stop. It's just I didn't expect that he would write anything back to me, and I knew why he wouldn't, even at the time. But since then, things have actually become more transparent related to the internet, because I was thinking, well, gosh, he's got to know. I know he knew. I have a right to call my lawyer? Oh, to call him a crook. I thought you meant call him on the phone. It's like, I would love to talk to him on the phone, but no, I shouldn't. I have a right to call him a crook. I absolutely do have a right to call him a crook. Especially after what he did. Making me homeless. He's a big crook. I have a right to call him a crook. And my ex-husband is a crook, and his lawyer is a crook too. They're all crooks. He's right up there on the same level as Fannie Willis up there. Oh, shit. No, I haven't said too much. I mean, the thing is, it's like I actually kind of miss doing what I did, and, but there's no excuses for whoever did what they did with the doxing. But, the doxing, why is it that the doxing is happening a lot to elected people? I'm not elected of anything. I'm not a politician. All I said is I thought that I might like to be, but I said I knew how YouTube works, I know how media works, and I always heard people say in media that they wanted to keep their jobs because they could talk more freely, but they made more money. YouTubers don't. Welcome to the world of YouTube. If you guys aren't going to pay us, it's like, well, we'll still drop dimes on you, say everything we have to say. And oh my gosh, there was another one that came up. Jukin Media, Jukin, came up yesterday. Jukin Media. And I remember Jukin Media. I thought that they were one of them I was doing an experiment with, but it wasn't them. Because I remember distinctly with Google Plus, totally loved Google Plus and I miss it, but there's still elements of it around. And so I was doing experiments related to what we have right now with the music, the AI music and things like that, related to what we like and what we don't like. And there was another music group, and what they did was they would put out music and then tell us we could use it in our videos. And so I'd put it in the video, and then it would show up on Content ID, and then they would want to claim copyright on it related to CID, content content identification, not CID with military, but content identification. And then they would claim it as their own. And so it seemed like kind of corrupt, the thing that they were doing, because they would have the royalty free, and then they would do like they actually had more content that was claimable, and they would only release it like every 30 days or so. There was even a point that you could do a word. So for example, the word fire. If somebody had the word fire and ice in their video, at one time with YouTube's content ID, you could do a blanket search for fire and ice with CID, and then claim copyright on every single video on YouTube that had fire and ice in it, and potentially earn revenue from that. That's how it worked at the beginning. I don't think it works that way anymore. But the networks have abused the content ID system, and that's what they were doing with the music. The same thing with the music. You know, they would call it royalty free and fair use, and most people don't understand that. And I said every year there's going to be someone who uses what's called royalty free and fair use. And so on YouTube we have the bulk tags that we can do the bulk, not just tags, we can do bulk changes of I think 30 videos is the most we can do right now. And I think I'm kind of glad to see that I can attempt to do all of mine, but I don't want to. If I do that, I'm going to mess up my whole channel. And so anyway, but when you do bulk changes, then I ended up with a copyright ding. It wasn't it was copyright because Kevin MacLeod, I took music that he had in the YouTube studio, which I thought was free. So at one time it was free. So he had his website separate. So he had a website over here, then he had stuff in YouTube as well. So this website over here of Kevin MacLeod, it said, well, you can use the music if you put his details inside of the video description. And so I was always doing that. I put it in there. But then I would do a bulk change of something and forget that I had his music in it. Then I'd end up with a copyright strike. So somehow he had some type of counter content ID on my video, where if I changed it, then something would alert to him. Then I would end up with a copyright strike of some sort because I had removed the royalty free and then the linking back to him. So that was the whole premise, is the words and linking back to the website. So say that this right here is Kevin MacLeod on YouTube, and then he's got his website over here. Then he's using those of us, and we're caught in the bait and switch of, oh gosh, I changed my policy on music usage, and now I'm just going to claim all of your videos. It's like, well, nobody wants to be taken down like that. And that's all they were doing. There was one guy one time, I watched this guy. This was when Content ID first came out. I was in the experimental part of Content ID. It saw a lot of bad practices. But there was this one guy. He was consistently bragging. So he'd created a small network for himself of a few guys. This was before people started abusing it even worse. But he says, well, I can just take down anybody that I want to. He's like, watch. And so he would have a channel up, and then they would put a video up of his on the channel, which I think it was probably his own video in hindsight now. That's probably what he was doing. And so he did a copyright takedown, and the whole channel would just disappear. Now, I knew I could do the same thing because I did the same thing. I created another channel. I uploaded one of my videos to the other channel. I did a copyright takedown on my other channel. The whole channel went down instantly, just right away. That is how much they didn't control the content ID. That where I could have done that. I didn't want to, because I thought that is so mean to do that to someone, to actually And see, CNN did that to me, where I, I had a video of mine, and CNN recorded it from YouTube, I guess from the screen, or they did a little highlight of it. They had some, oh, you're going to make it cool. And so they recorded the screen, and then my video, which had, by that time it had maybe 5 million views on it, I think. So CNN put it on CNN, and someone told me that it was on YouTube. And so I looked at it and I thought, oh, I had no idea that CNN had uploaded my video to YouTube. My content ID wasn't even working to tell me that CNN had uploaded my video. It didn't work to tell me that they'd uploaded it. So I'm thinking, what's going on here that CNN is able to upload my video, and then they hold me in limbo for my own video that's been on YouTube longer than CNN has done the story. And I started seeing this common denominator that the legacy media was actually getting preference over YouTubers. And so I thought, and not only that, then that means they can be hijacking money. So if you sit on a video, so some of these networks, someone was telling me, they said, oh, they might release stuff only once a month, and then they just have some intern go through, and who may or may not even know what is legitimate copyright or what is someone's YouTube channel or a mistake or something. Now, there was one time I had, let me see if I can draw this. Oh, yeah, I have okay, so I had a video of an airplane that I'd taken in the sky that was kind of banking sort of in this direction like this. Okay, so this is the airplane here, banking. It had a tail and everything. I'd taken a picture of it. Now off over here, okay, so this is my video. So we had a split screen, and then here was a picture of a bird. This bird, this is how sensitive content ID can be. This bird alerted to AI that it was the same as this bird. Now, I didn't think about that till later. But at that time, the only thing I was thinking, so I released this video because I thought, well, that's not my video. But AI is very, very sensitive when it comes to understanding and knowing or thinking what it knows. I thought, well, AI made a mistake. That's all it did, was make a mistake. It saw this bird for this bird. Now, I didn't think about either at the time that maybe I was thinking, did I put bird in my metadata for airplane? Because I could have, because everybody calls airplanes a bird. So you see bird and bird. So if it was just the wording of the two related to metadata and SEO, maybe that's why it alerted, possibly. But there's so much conflict with content identification in the networks and the music. That's why the music business will never work on YouTube. So YouTube has like millions and millions of independent content creators, but the networks make things hard for people. When you have legacy media networks, they have their huge catalogs of music that they don't want to share. They want to make money from everything, and they'll say, oh yeah, you can use our music. It's like, yeah, up until you decide to do a content ID on my song, and then my video goes dead. Or not on my song, but on my video that I made, and then my video goes dead. That's what happens. That's what always happened to me. So I'd have a video that was performing well, and then if I decided to try to do a video that I knew was going to do well, put a song in it, it would go dead with the music in it. I don't know what was happening, but something was happening, and it just would not do anything with the song in it. So I started thinking, well, why bother? Why bother? They're doing their stuff. They're on TV. I'm never going to be on TV. They're never going to promote me. TV is not one of those that reaches around and helps YouTubers or new media. They just aren't going to do that. And so I thought they can do their stuff by themselves, and but then in the meantime, then Adpocalypse came along, and then revenue got worse, and so it's like they didn't think about, then we were being called artificial intelligence, and so so it's kind of like, they're just trying to. The thing I started seeing was they were trying to put YouTubers out of business. They were trying to put the internet out of business. That's what they were doing. And they were using people from foreign countries to do it and interfere with elections. That is a fact. I think by now everybody knows what's going on. I think the FBI should know by now what's going on. They've investigated long enough. They have enough information they've collected to know what's going on, to know that there's a lot of corruption. They can launder billions and billions of dollars, trillions through the internet, through these companies. They have people that are selling things that are non-fungible tokens, non-tangible items through the internet. It's like, now the only thing I did was teach, so it's like when I draw, I'm teaching. When I'm crochet, I teach something. That's all I'm doing. I can't sell anything else because I'm not going to make any money selling things. I'm not going to make any money at all making something and selling it. And this is what the other crochet people are saying on YouTube as well. It takes weeks and weeks. I was so thankful to see the other ladies speaking out about it taking weeks and weeks to crochet something, to make a shrug, or which is a sweater type, shortened type thing, some type of sweater that it takes weeks and weeks to make it. It takes weeks and weeks to make an Afghan. It's not something that we can just sell to other people. And the ones who are doing it on the internet, I don't know what they're part of. I think they're part of the networks, because they sit there and they talk and repeat the same words over and over again. I guess maybe that's what Comcast is doing. I don't know. But somebody is literally has women on the internet just repeating the word crochet over and over again. There's one woman, bless her heart, she was on YouTube, and she was just saying, oh, okay, I'm doing crochet. I appreciate your kind thoughts. Thank you very much. That's all she was saying. Thank you very much. I appreciate your thoughts. And she's like, I'm working on this crochet this and this crochet that. Thank you very much for coming to my crochet channel and subscribing to me. So she had all these people who are subscribing to her. And I'm like, how in the world is this happening? This looks like the network stuff that's coming from the foreign countries, where the people build up their channels. And one thing I've noticed with some of these networks, though, you're just to let you know, you're still here and you're drawing. Okay. And so they so the networks collect all these people. So I've had YouTube channels. I don't know how they do this. I subscribe to a channel, and then I know they can change the name. That's fair, because I've done the same thing too. But I'm subscribed to a channel, but it's like all of a sudden, next thing you know, all the videos change. So it has me wondering, well, what's going on with the videos? Because it's like this one set of videos that I was subscribed to, and then now there's something completely different on the channel. They have a different set of videos that's public now. So it's kind of like they're manipulating the public videos and private videos that are public. And so then if anybody has made like a little remix or something and use that video, and let's say it's gone viral or something, well, then their video, next thing you know, then it's completely private. Or their video's unlisted. And so if you use something that belongs to someone else and they make it private, then you can't use it anymore because they made it private. And it's not only that, I think they're manipulating the algorithm that way too. They're manipulating the trend cycles by making stuff private and public all the time. So let's say you have a channel. It is kind of hard for you to draw a rose, so you drew a tulip instead. Oh, okay, you drew a tulip. I like drawing tulips. I actually have made tulips before. What tulips? I've drawn tulips, and I have actually crocheted them before too. Crocheted a tulip. Tulip is a fun word because it sounds like two lips. Tulip, tulip. It is tulip when you look at the spelling. Yeah, roses are hard. I've always found that too. They're hard to draw. I've even had a hard time crocheting them. So, but yeah, there's a lot of manipulation with making things public and private. Yes, I do crochet. Yeah. Gosh, I've crocheted, I think, for 43, 44 years now. And so yeah, I don't have a lot of I don't know what else to say right now. I've said so much about my private life that and you know, when I was trying to talk about my private life, I would get obstructed. You know, it was kind of like someone was saying, you don't have it. That's kind of, now I see it a little differently. Back then I felt like someone just was like obstructing me from speaking. Right now I think of someone as just saying, well, you don't have to talk about it. You really don't have to talk about it. Or something else was going on. I don't know what, you know, that's what I don't know. It was just, or was it my conscience or of what I was dealing with after everything happened related to my ex-husband? That's, sometimes I wonder that, you know, because the thing is, he was treating me like a child. And there was just things he was like, oh, well, if you're going to do this on YouTube, then you and I can't be together anymore. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. You know, well, the money was, you liked the money when it helped pay for the house. Now you don't want me doing it. The house is paid for. You don't want me making any money. You know, I mean, now granted, he did say that I didn't have to when we first got married. He says, oh, I know you went to college. He says, but I make plenty of money. And he says, you know, you don't have to go get a job unless you want to. But up to the point where, you know, I have 10 more minutes before I have to go. Your parents said, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I have to be going my own self here soon too, because I like the hair there. That's kind of cute. It does look like, you know what, it looks like a symbol. His hair looks like a symbol up there, doesn't it? Almost like maybe a little dog or a creature. I just realized that the way I did it, there's like a long tail there and a bunch of wavy. It looks kind of like a character. That's kind of fun to put little characters in there. We could draw an eye. Maybe I should draw a little eyeball in here. Like that. Make it look like some kind of bug in his hair. Maybe he's scared of bugs. But, alright, well, yeah, I probably should be going my own self. I've been on here for quite some time talking about absolutely nothing. I can't believe 2 hours and 19 minutes. I talked about nothing. Well, no, I actually did something, though. I drew stuff. I drew a bunch of different stuff. So now I'm going to have some fun things to actually, yeah, I need this stuff eventually. because I can go back and make clips, because it's gonna, I think it's gonna be 24 hours probably before I can make another photo to video of my artwork. So I won't be able to do this guy. I don't think I'll be able to do him until tomorrow, or after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, because I met my quota. I'd never done that with photo to video before. With photo to video, I've never met my quota, and I did today, because I did Nebula Girl. So the woman who's facing away towards the horizon. Oh my gosh, I love that video. I did a little poem this morning too. I gave my tulip man the president here. The president here. Oh my gosh, I bet that's funny. I bet that's funny. Okay, I gotta see. Are you gonna put it on YouTube? Are you gonna put it on YouTube? I'm just curious. Okay, let me zoom out so I can see here. You put the president's hair on it. That's funny. Okay. Oh, okay. Shout out to E. Okay, let me subscribe. I'm going to subscribe to you. Mystery Mask. We're going to subscribe to you right there. You've got 500 and, identity. No one knows my identity. You've got 213,000 views, 400 videos, and no one knows your identity. Oh goodness, let's look at the videos and see what you got. Clicky keyboard tower in Roblox. Let's see what you got popular. Fortnite. Oh, when you mentioned Fortnite, there was something that came up. Oh, the word 410, like Interstate 410 came up. 410. Fortnite, learning Spanish, Minecraft, Among Us season episode, Roblox, Fortnite, Bedrock, Fortnite, Fort tonight. You know what's interesting about the word Fortnite? It's kind of a blur word, like for tonight, or Fortnite, like military fort base, you know, a base of some sort, but for tonight, like T-N-I-T-E, like tonight, for tonight, or Fortnite. You can say it both ways. It's kind of one of those blurry words. Playing game time, and there's a green guy on there, a green guy with a little elf, and then you've got witch skin, which, oh, that one almost looks a little bit naughty, but you know, it's a cartoon and that has hair on it, so it looks a tiny bit like a walking. Okay, classic root beer. We're not going to go there anymore. Okay, let's look at the shorts. You practiced something and you spilled your glitter. You're the letter E, and okay, you look like you. I will be right back. You posted it. Oh, you posted it. Let me see. Okay, I need to refresh. I need to refresh to see. I don't see it yet. If you posted it, I don't see it yet. I practice. Maybe it's not distributed yet. Sometimes you know how it takes a couple of minutes for it to show up. Oh, you might have to upload, but you don't know. Well, I hope it's okay with your parents. Because I think I think you're a child that's hiding behind the mask, but, or you're an adult who is pretending to be a child. Possibly. I know there's kids that are hiding out on the internet right now. There's a booger coming out of a nose. If this goes viral, I swear. Okay, so he's got a booger coming out of a nose. That's something I would draw. And then, like, we pull the booger out of the nose. And then, like, some leprechauns or glitter or something comes out of the nose. Because we pulled the string out. Heinz tomato ketchup. And you got some cartoon women who are on a boogie board of some sort. And I don't know. I mean, I can't tell because I can't tell if, because sometimes I get little miniature people on my on my photo to video and in my animation, so I don't know. I don't know. Someone was talking the other day about okay, I am a child for real, not a grown-up hiding. I'm a real child. You're 10. Okay, that's what I was thinking, that you are a child. But you're not being bad, though. And YouTube said you can be on here, and I think your parents pretty much said you can be on here, too. So, if your parents are putting you on here, there's not much I can do about it now, is there? Because they gave you a phone and they let you get on the internet. You got a lot from the You Spilled Your Glitter. Maybe I should make a video of spilling glitter or something, and maybe I'll get 1,000 views. Let's see here. Yes, I would not be on here if they did not let me on YouTube. You did? You did what? You spilled your glitter? Yeah, there is a thing on here about you spilling your glitter. Maybe you didn't know about that? You didn't know you spilled your glitter? You don't even know what videos you have on your channel? Oh my goodness. No hate in the comments. I do. I didn't know it would go viral. Oh, so yeah, 1,000. Yeah, it has 1,000 views on it. So that's a really good start there, for your video. That's what I think. Seems like you and I are kind of making videos that are really similar to each other, which is maybe that's why we can. It's so strange, because I'm an old person and you're a young person, and that is such a strange, odd combination here. But we're making some videos that are really, really similar. So yeah, I do have to go to, yeah. Well, gosh, I told you about things that maybe it was above your head related to the police and stuff like that, too. Yeah, I shouldn't have told that one story now. I didn't know you were a child. But I don't think I said anything too bad, did I? I really don't think I did. I was trying not to. I was trying not to say anything bad. Okay, good. I'm trying really hard not to curse or anything like that. I might slip up every once in a while, but I don't really feel like I have a reason to. There's no reason for me to be cursing right now. And so, But all right, I do need to go. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you the next time. And I'll be looking for your video when it posts, your video of the guy you made with the tulip. I think that will be fun to see it.